G'day, Nacho here, and I have a fantastic video for you all on stuff and things. Brought to you thanks to my mate and one of my most recent patrons, Vagrant Sam. If you want to be a patron and make me put more videos out more often, throw $1 my way and become a VIC. The link is below, along with a link to Sam's channel, so make sure you go over and sub to him. Help him smash 150 subs so we can hear his amazing tunes. So, what does stuff and things mean? What is the difference between stuff and things? Where do we define where stuff ends and things begin? Are they opposite ends of a stuff-thing spectrum? These are the important questions we likely won't be dealing with here today. Stuff and things. When taken by themselves, stuff and things are not much to rave home about. It's just this and that. But when put into ever-important context, stuff and things can suddenly become the building blocks of everything that makes up life. That's a bit more than just this and that. This means I can pretty much talk about anything. But can anything be stuff and or things? What about everything? Anything and everything includes ideas. Are ideas stuff and or things? To be honest, I have absolutely no idea. So stuff that thing and let's move on to anything else. The Oxford Dictionary defines stuff as used to refer to a substance, material, group of objects, etc., when you do not know the name, when the name is not important, or when it is obvious what you're talking about. It defines thing as an object whose name you do not use because you do not need to or want to, or because you do not know it. Clearly, a very important distinction can be made here. What this shows is that the Oxford publishers put a little more effort into their definition of stuff than they did in defining thing. Any critical thinker will know what to do with that information. The word thing is a noun and has its origins in Old English as that word, meaning meeting, assembly, council, discussion, and later entity, being, and matter, and act, deed, event, material object, body, being, creature, according to etymonline.com. It has been used to describe a person or persons, often pityingly, from the late 13th century and used colloquially since the 1600s to indicate things the speaker can't name at the moment, often with various meaningless suffixes, such as thingamajig. Things, as in personal possessions, is from the 1300s. The thing, what's stylish or fashionable, is recorded from 1762. The phrase do your thing, though commonly associated with the free love era of the 60s, originates as early as 1841. The word stuff, however, can be both a noun or a verb. The noun form of stuff dates back to the early 14th century, quilted material worn under chainmail, from Old French, that word, or quilted material, furniture, provisions, from that word, to equip or stock, which according to French sources is from Old High German, that word, to plug or stuff. The verb form of stuff, meaning to furnish with or reinforce, comes from the mid-14th century's Old French, that word, to pad, upholster, fit out, from that word, and likely in part from its use in noun form. From the 1400s, it was used meaning fill, cram full, or fill the belly with food or drink, to gorge, from the early 1500s as to clog, the sinuses, for example. From the late 14th century, stuff started being used to mean fill with padding, such as a mattress, or line with padding, and also in the cookery sense, as in stuffing a turkey. The ballot box sense is attested from 1854 in American English, and in expressions of contempt and suggestive of bodily orifices, it dates from 1952. All this lovely etymology information was sourced directly from etymonline.com. Links will be below. It is important to consider the supply and demand of things and stuff. Things help supply stuff in demand, but only when the things can be profitable in doing the stuff required to supply the things, and that there are enough stuff and things to supply. The supply and demand of things and stuff is a significant factor in their cost. Some things can be in high demand but low supply. such as good-paying jobs, affordable housing, respectful teens, or the coronavirus test. The lack of supply in a time where the demand is high often leads to rising prices for the stuff and things. Some things will always be in high demand, such as raw materials, rare elements, and cheesecake. Thus, their prices often remain consistently high. Other stuff might normally be in low or average demand and easy supply, but suddenly find itself in high demand, such as universal healthcare, personal information, or toilet paper. Sometimes stuff is low in demand despite an overwhelming supply, like mosquitoes, plastic waste, solar-powered submarines, or the coronavirus. Okay, maybe we don't have a huge supply of solar-powered subs, but that's probably for the best. So some things are worth more than other things, but the variance between the two constantly fluctuates in great part to the stuff's supply or demand. For ease of supply, most stuff is put in other things to be safe in transit. If you put stuff or things in other stuff or things, they are still stuff and or things, but now they have an adult rating and must be censored for YouTube. Make sure to wear protection, or you might end up with lots of little stuff and things 9 months down the line. Also, you never want to pick up a little bit of nasty or painful this and that on your stuff or things, so make sure to always adequately protect your stuff and things before you put them in other stuff or things. I'll give you an example. Let's say it's Valentine's Day, and your lover has just gifted you with a mysteriously well-wrapped yet sizable box to open. Things are already heating up, but what stuff is inside, which your partner has optimistically bought for you? As you gently undo the silk ribbon, all of which covers it falls to the floor, revealing to you one last challenge: removing the lid. What could it be? Well, open it, they say, clearly eager to witness your reaction. So you oblige them, putting your whole hand in deep. You can feel it, firm but floppy, long but easy to place in your hand. Of course, you realize what it is, and you realize why it is there. A giant strap-on dildo face-mouth gag is not exactly what you had expected. In a sudden flare, you throw that oversized sex toy across the room, calling your partner all sorts of slanderously sexy adjectives as the ballistic penis crashes into the bedside mirror, smashing the glass into little shards. With great shock, your partner asks, "Honey, what was wrong with it?" "Nothing," you reply as you take out the gift that you got them and pass it to them. "It's just the same one that I bought for you." Now turned on to the max, you reach for the bedside drawer and take out a set of condoms and... Unfortunately, to stay on YouTube, I must now end this story here. But as you can see, the important part of the story is that they had protection for their stuff and things when they were going to put their things in stuff. Sort of at the end there. By the end of the night, a lot of things were stuffed. Who would have thought I would give safe sex advice for stuff and things? But this is the world we live in, and it is full of stuff and things, stuffing their things in other stuff. By the way, shout out to Alucard for inspiring that story. Thanks, mate. I bet you didn't wake up this morning thinking you would end up learning so much about stuff and things. Has anyone ever talked so much bullshit about stuff and things? Probably, actually. Probably. If you think I've missed something or forgotten to include some stuff, don't email me a thing, because I really don't care. I hope you have all enjoyed this little bit of silly, especially as so many are worried about catching something, like a stuffy nose. Be considerate of others. Help out where you can, even if that's just by keeping to yourself for a while. And look after yourselves, everyone, physically and mentally, especially if you're isolating yourself at the moment. Stay clean, positive, and as active as you can be that physically, socially, or mentally. It will help keep your spirits up, and that's pretty important right now for everybody. Much love from